No cookie-cutter portfolios here. Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to meet each client's goals and needs.
But you do sell investments that earn you high commissions, right? And make commissions when you make trades for your clients?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission investment products, and we never earn commissions on trades.
So what's in it for you?
Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when our clients do better. When it comes to helping clients achieve a comfortable retirement, we're clearly different. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
Nashville's first curling venue is here at T-Line Nashville. Come check out T-Line Nashville and experience the world's fastest growing winter sport today. Curling is a fun and simple sport that's a perfect outing for friends, corporate events, families, or parties. T-Line also has classic bowling and modern bowling mini games. With over 20 HD TVs, you can come watch your favorite teams and some of the best food and drinks here in Nashville in the large bar and grill area. They also have an outdoor area with a fire pit, and you can't forget the live music. T-Line Nashville is a one-stop shop for a great night out. Located at 106 Duluth Avenue and online at tlinenash.com. You can book your party now or give them a call at 615-439-1024. That's 615-439-1024. And make sure you give them a follow on Instagram and Facebook at T-Line Nash for all the news, events, and updates. T-Line Nashville. Nashville's first curling venue is here.
Listen, you can't handle the truth. It's about to go off. Live from the WNSR Strike and Spare studios. Just a bit outside. It's the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Show me the money!
Call now at 615-844-5600.
Oh, righty then.
Now, the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
And a good Tuesday afternoon to you, and let's get after it. Darren and Justin here for the next 2 hours. We got a ton of things to go over today.
Yes,
Devlin is
sir.
alongside here at the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio. By the way, you can watch us every single day on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. We're staring at you right now. Hello. First, let's bring in, it says Art Perduca. Art Perduca's Christmas Miracle. His real name is Pat. He goes by Pat Sperduto. He used to be the former head coach of the Nashville Cats, both stints, for all those who've been in Nashville longer than 5 minutes or 5 years. Also, he's been a long-time NFL scout. He's been with the Kansas City Chiefs for many, 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 many years, well over a decade. And before that, your Tennessee Titans. Pat, how we doing?
I'm doing great. Little McFarland squared coming at you.
Yeah. How about that for an intro, huh?
Hey, Coach.
I love it.
Let's tell everybody how they can help us. By the way, hold on, real quick, Pat. I do want to ask you.
Yeah.
Before we get into that, because of what you do, you are a scout in the NFL who travels all around different campuses. I have to believe that you've had interactions with Mike Leach over the years. Really, really, really sad news to wake up this morning and learn of his passing.
Heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. I've had a couple interactions with him. Yes, on the road, but one memory goes back to I was at a coaching clinic and he was there, and I was sitting down outside of a venue, and he just came up and we started talking, and it was such an enlightening conversation. It was not about football. It was just about life, and he really, he had such an energy to him. I know you might not believe it because you see some of his press conferences and he appears dry and stuff like that, but he, to me, and I can only speak from my experience, he was a good man. He was a guy that you enjoyed speaking to. I know how he works with the media might be a little bit different, but how he works in life is pretty impressive. It was always direct and honest and straightforward, and those of you who know me know that I embrace that type of person, and he'll be missed. He'll be missed. He'll be missed by a lot of people. Yeah. My sympathy goes out to his family first and foremost.
No doubt. Very, very sad. we're asking for help from our listeners, and this is something that we've been doing for a long time. I've been doing this with you and your family and other families for 17 years. You've been doing it going all the way back to the days when you were the head coach of the Nashville Cats. Tell everybody what we're doing Christmas morning and how they can help.
Well, Christmas morning, let me start with Yogi's Pizzeria in Creek Hall. They provide meals for us, and they package them up, and they use they use St. Edward's students to decorate bags. And I got to thank Yogi and Robin and everybody that's involved in that part first. They package up, a couple hundred meals, and it's pretty cool because we get to give those out.
And they go quick.
And they go very fast. You're right. And we could never thank him enough. And he's been doing it forever, like 20 years. And from his other businesses when he owned the corner pubs and stuff like that. And you can't thank them enough, first and foremost. And then a couple of years ago, one of my former linemen, Zach Tiller, who was with the Titans, he owns Neighbors, 3 Neighbors locations, and he said, hey, how can I help? Neighbors helping neighbors is kind of how he describes it. And I said, well, the best thing you could do is allow us a drop-off site. And sure enough, Zach and his wife decided that they would help out, and they have 3 locations. Neighbors Germantown, it's on Jefferson Street, 313 Jefferson. Neighbors Franklin, it's 4031 Aspen Grove Drive in Franklin, and Neighbors Sylvan is at 4425 Murphy Road in Nashville, and they have been set up for any donations, and it's not financial. We don't take money. We can't take money. That's not what we want to do. We take new items. We'd love to have hats and warm socks and gloves, scarves, any type of to the body, like long johns and stuff like that. And then gently used items, coats, sleeping bags are huge, blankets are huge. Those go very, very fast.
Yep.
Any sweatshirts, preferably larger sizes, those will go super fast. And then, of course, gently used shoes. And that's a hit or miss. And I got to thank another person, my daughter, Rosie, my oldest daughter works for Puma, and they donated, 40 boxes of their product to us last year that went faster than you could blink an eye.
Yep.
So I can't thank all these people, of course, McFarland's, and there's been so many families that have come and helped us. Willie Donick and his family, Brad Warren and his family. It's such an output of manpower, and everybody does it that Christmas morning before they spend time with their family. They spend time giving back to Nashville, and thank you all, and thank everybody that's given a pair of socks through the years. We can't thank them enough, and hopefully this year turns out as great as all the years past.
Can I add one thing to the list that I've noticed over the years, and I've put in there, and I know it goes really, really fast, that we haven't mentioned? If you have any bags, they're always looking for some, like backpacks or something you can carry stuff around in. Trust me, that stuff will go very, very fast.
Backpacks or like
backpacks,
anything
like a duffel bag, anything where they can stuff in and carry around. I promise you, they will get used 100%. They will go very fast.
And again, just the most important thing is work within your means. I'm not asking people to go out and buy a $40 sweater. My wife actually she purchased online a bunch of sweatpants and sweatshirts, which was pretty cool, and they were inexpensive, and so grateful that she's been searching online for stuff like that. But yes, backpacks will go, and absolutely anybody who can donate that stuff, they'll fly out of there, and these people are so grateful. And it's really, I say this, and I actually text this to a few people, that this is a selfish endeavor. I mean this sincerely. I get more out of this, and I know you do, Darren, and I know my kids do. You get more out of it by just giving. Selfishly, we are more rewarded internally and spiritually than these people, and just spending time talking to them is such a gift to them, and they enjoy it, and they feel like, hey, people are thinking about me, because a lot of them don't have the best situation, and to have somebody that just wants to spend a minute talking to them is just as awesome, and we win out of that. I win out of that when I get to see a smile on their face.
100% true. If you can help in any way, there's 3 neighbors locations, as Pat mentioned, Germantown, Franklin, and Sylvan. If you can't get there, we will be doing our show Thursday, December 22nd at Chevy Buick GMC of Murfreesboro, which is right off the Medical Center Parkway exit off I-24. Down in Murfreesboro, it's 960 John Rice Boulevard. Again, we will be doing our show there.
And
that we will gladly accept. Yes, Pat will show up, and hopefully a lot of you listeners will show up, and you can drop off stuff, hang out. We'll be doing the show there in their lobby at 960 John Rice Boulevard, right off the Medical Center Parkway exit. It's a huge dealership. It's the one that's got the big glass encasings. It's got cars and trucks in it. You cannot miss it. If you get off the Medical Center Parkway exit, we will be there on Thursday, December 22nd, doing our show. Hope to see some people there.
That's my bad. I didn't add them to the list of thank yous, and of course, your station, without question, I have to thank them as well. And like I said, everybody that's involved, I can't thank them enough for what they give to us: time, effort, energy, minutes. Everybody that's involved. Thank you.
We'll keep getting the word out. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks for doing this.
Awesome.
Appreciate you guys. Get after it.
Pat Sperduto, a.k.a. Art Perduca. We appreciate him joining us. So hopefully if you can give anything, you can help in any way, it would be greatly, greatly appreciated. I knew Pat would have some type of story or interaction with Mike Leach.
For sure.
So sad.
It is a very and shocking. It's so sudden. It happened so without any warning at all, and that's just it was just such a tough pill to swallow, and still is. And it's a good day to take a look at the legacy of Mike Leach here, and just recognize exactly the kind of impact that he has made to the game of football. And I don't think it's without any kind of over-exaggeration to say that he has really changed the game with the air raid offense. He came in and made a huge impact on the Big 12, and as a result of making the impact on the Big 12, he made an impact on all of college football. And it's something that's gonna be with us for a long time. So it's a very, very sad occasion for sure with the loss of Mike Leach.
I sent both of you a tweet that Bill Snyder, and it wasn't a fake account.
I saw it.
It was actually Bill Snyder, the former longtime Kansas State football coach.
Absolutely.
And, I understand that he probably had some intel. He had been talking to people that knew that it was dire situation, right? It was very grave. But he put out that he had passed away. And, of course, he had to retract, and, it just stinks. But, honestly, my first reaction was, you don't ever want – but then I was like – then I started thinking about it, and I was like, that's probably not good. That means he somebody like you have the clout of Bill Snyder.
Yeah.
You have people that are very, very close to situations that can give you information that the general public, nobody else has.
Without question.
And so I immediately thought, this is not good. And then I saw, of course, Mississippi State, retracting that quickly. But if you notice, if you listen to their words, and I'm paraphrasing, unless I could go back and pull it up. They were like, he is not gone yet. It was almost like he's not gone yet.
Yeah.
But it's why would you say he's not gone yet?
Yeah.
It's how they phrased it.
We're not ready to make the announcement.
Right,
yet.
Yeah. It was like, there you go.
That really
meant. It was like, we're not ready to say that yet.
Yeah. We need to tell his friends and family first and make sure they've been notified, and so they don't find out via tweet from Bill Snyder that, their loved one is gone.
Yeah, just sad. So, Mike Leach, what does Mississippi State do from here?
Oh, wow.
I've got my
wow.
got my theory, okay, because this is obviously something they're not playing for. They didn't plan for this. They just beat Ole Miss in Oxford
Absolutely.
in the Egg Bowl.
Yeah.
We watched that.
8-4 season.
Right. They're going to go to a bowl game,
Yep.
and this happens.
You
want me to throw out something?
Sure.
I haven't seen this anywhere. But you're not going to be surprised when I say it.
Okay.
Cliff Kingsbury's getting fired. I've been
What?
telling. I know. But I've been saying this on the show for a good while. Cliff Kingsbury's not going to make it in Arizona.
Cliff Kingsbury?
He's out.
From the Cardinals?
Yeah, he's going to get fired.
You mean the 4-9 Cardinals?
Yeah.
They're not good. He's not going to make it?
No, he's not going to make it. Oh,
Okay.
Cliff, he's not going to make it.
Wow.
And I've been saying this well before all these losses have been mounting. I told you I've been watching the Hard Knocks. I'm like, I don't think Cliff's long for this job. I don't think this is going to work.
Yeah.
Well, he's out.
Yeah.
Now, they're probably not going to do it until the end of the season.
Yep.
But let me ask you something.
Sure.
If you're Mississippi State,
Yeah.
if you enjoyed air raid, if you enjoyed their offense,
Yeah.
it's been kind of fun to watch, right?
Yeah.
Dan Mullen had pretty good offense at Mississippi State. They were fun to watch when he was there, too.
They were.
So, I know Cliff Kingsbury when he was in college, the other side of the ball didn't play a lick of defense, and they don't play a lick of defense.
Big 12 there.
Yeah, don't play any defense.
That's a Big 12 knock.
But if when he gets shown the door, don't you think that would be an attractive?
Nope.
If you were Mississippi State?
Nope.
Okay, why not?
Well, most people thought he was a reach to get the Arizona job. He only got the Arizona job because they got a brand new quarterback and they wanted a quarterback guy to be with them. They had Steve Wilkes was the head coach at the time, who was a defensive guy, and they didn't want a defensive guy with this brand new Tory quarterback they just got. So they went and got a guy with a wide-open offensive philosophy. But a lot of people thought like he was a reach to be an NFL head coach, and he's proven to be just that, a bit of a reach. During his time in the Big 12, and I had to pause and look it up, I admit it, because I didn't know. During his time in the Big 12, he looks like under 500. Just under 500.
Okay. It was like a 500 coach.
So how does under 500 as a head coach in the Big 12 translate into taking let's call it a mid-level SEC job?
Okay, so I'm not disagreeing with you, okay? I know exactly what Cliff Kingsbury is. I watched him at Texas Tech. They would score 60 points and still lose games. I mean, it was pathetic. He had a guy by the name of Patrick Mahomes, and they still couldn't finish better than 6-6.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't play a lick of defense. I remember watching their game against Oklahoma, and I think they scored 63. They lost by 2 touchdowns and scored 63 points.
Yeah.
Or 60 points, whatever it was.
Yeah.
When you score 60 or more, you don't lose by 2 touchdowns. So I'm not going to defend Cliff Kingsbury. I was puzzled just like everybody else on the hire at Arizona. He hasn't been very good at Arizona. He's been exactly what he's been.
Yeah.
Pretty much, right? He's been
Pretty
like
much.
a 500 coach or worse.
I would imagine. I would need to look it up.
Or
but
just below,
probably,
right? Just
probably.
a little bit below. So not even, he's about. But with that being said, make no mistake about it. Mississippi State is a very difficult job.
Yeah.
It's in Starkville, Mississippi. You ever been there?
Actually, I've not been to Starkville.
Yeah. Well,
No.
okay, that's not surprising. Devlin, have you been there?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I haven't either. What does that tell you? What does that tell you?
Tells you probably
It's not exactly a destination location. Okay? Yeah, haven't been there.
Starkville's a place you
And
have
I've been
to
covering the
intentionally
SEC
want to go there.
For a long time, my entire adult life, and still haven't made it to Starkville, Mississippi. Ain't much going on in Starkville. Okay? No disrespect, but it is what it is. It's a hard job. Can you have success? Yeah. Can you sustain success? No, that's the that's been the challenge, right? That has been the challenge. I'm just saying, We know he can do offense.
Mm-hmm.
Probably can't do any defense, but what are you going to do better? Let me ask you something. What are you going to do better than Cliff Kingsbury if you're Mississippi State?
What are you going to do better that's proven? Nothing. What are you going to do that's better that's unproven? That is the direction I think they're going to go. I think they're going to go get someone who has succeeded, just not succeeded on the SEC level. And so, and that's a difficult question, okay? Would you rather take the mid-range NFL, Power 5 guy, or would you rather take someone who's been very successful but at a lower level? And when I say lower level, I mean, the Conference USA or whatever we're calling it these days. One of the non-Power 5 next ring down conferences who are looking for a big pay increase. What does the head coach of Mississippi State make on average? What are we talking about? $6.5, $7 million?
They make at least $6 million, a year.
So
these days.
So there's somebody somewhere making $2 million a year who would love to move to Starkville,
triple their money,
to move to Starkville, Mississippi for $6 million,
sure.
And they're probably 15, 20 games over 500 at their current job, and they'll go do it and try their luck at the next level. That's the direction I think they'll go.
Let me give you one. I'll give you one more.
Sure.
We got to go to break. We got to bring in Teresa Walker.
Oh, of course.
Last time I checked, WNSR carries college football games, right? They carry a team
occasionally.
Right? Yeah. Who do they have on, Devlin?
Western Kentucky.
Well,
the Hilltoppers.
Gosh, good answer, Devlin. Yeah, Western Kentucky.
Bowling Green.
How's Tyson Helton done?
Done pretty well.
Okay. Well, doesn't that fit your mold?
He does.
They can score.
They could.
They've been pumping out quarterbacks.
They could go that way.
They've Jeff Brom. He did all right at Purdue.
They could go that way.
Now Jeff Brom is in Louisville.
He is.
By the way, Tyson Helton, I think, was being bandied about the Purdue job. I think they were just going to stay with the Western Kentucky pipeline.
Okay.
But they didn't hire him. What about a guy like Tyson Helton?
I would rather Tyson Helton over Cliff Kingsbury. You're talking about what you got versus a complete unknown. We already seen the Cliff Kingsbury movie. We already know where that goes. He was, 500 or just below 500 in the NFL. He was just below 500 in Big 12 football. Why would I bring that guy to the SEC to go just below 500 here? I'd rather swing and try to get something better with the guy who's had a lot more winning than he has, who's proven a lot more than he has. What has Cliff Kingsbury really ever won? Well, where's his
nothing?
Where's his trophy
nothing.
Case? What's up there?
Offensive stuff.
Offensive Coach of the Week. Sponsored by fill in the blank. He's probably got a few of those on the mantle.
Yeah.
And he's got millions of dollars. Listen, he's going to make more money than I'm ever going to see, so good for him.
We've seen his pad in Arizona.
Absolutely.
Woo.
The Instagram
That's
model
nice.
girlfriend and the whole thing. Yeah, bruh.
Hey, life's good for Cliff.
Nothing for Cliff Kingsbury.
All right, we'll come back. We'll switch gears to the Titans. We'll talk with Teresa Walker.
Queen.
We'll do that next here on the McFarland Show, WNSR.
Located at 5410 Murfreesboro Road in the heart of Laverne, City Slickers is one-stop shopping for all your liquor, beer, and wine needs and has been a multiple winner annually in the Best of Rutherford County voting for Best Liquor Store and Top Wine Shop. Featuring the lowest prices, the best customer service with unsurpassed knowledge, City Slickers offers the largest craft beer selection in Rutherford and southeastern Davidson counties and has beer on tap at its Growler filling station. City Slickers also sells mixers, sodas, snacks, tobacco products, and the Tennessee Lottery, and can place special orders and assist with all your events and even wedding planning. Make sure you follow City Slickers on all their social media or just give them a call at 615-280-7469. That's 615-280-7469. Located in the heart of Laverne, City Slickers. Ho, ho, ho! Merry Commitmas!
It's Bill King Commitmas 22 December. It's a two-day event, December 13th and the 14th.
The night before, that Tuesday night, the 13th, will be in the Bill King Suite. You can come. You're invited. You don't need a ticket. It doesn't cost you anything. If you need a room at Commitments at the Omni, we can get you a link for a special rate as well. The next morning, we'll be at Bar Lines, 6 until 11, right there in the Omni. Lobby area to your left. We'll feed you breakfast. That's also on the house. Go to the WNSR.com site, and you'll see the Commitments 22 logo on the homepage or my show page. Click the logo. That'll take you to that special link. You're going to love it. Bill King Show Commitments 2022, December 14th on WNSR.
As a professional realtor in Nashville for more than 40 years, Richard Courtney is one of the city's top-ranked real estate brokers. He's also the author of 2 books and the real estate columnist for the Nashville Ledger. What does all of this mean to you as a home buyer or seller? Expert knowledge, guidance, and trust. Give Richard Courtney a call today at 615-300-8189. That's 615-300-8189 or online at richardcourtney.com.
Get all your NASCAR news every weekday right here on the Final Lap. Hey, it's Kerry Murphy, and we are kicking off our look at the top 16 playoff drivers of the 2022 NASCAR Cup Series racing season. We are going to feature, let's see here, Alex Bowman, maybe even Austin Cindric. So keep it right here for the latest NASCAR news, driver interview, stats, and info every single weekday right here.
Hi, this is Tyler Reddick, and you're listening to the Final Lap.
Every single weekday right here.
All right, let's get a little Titans reaction from the one and only Teresa Walker.
Brian Richmond, 96 double.
And now, it's time for Darren and Justin's Big Game Reaction. Sponsored by ABS Communications. ABS Communications is a top 5 AT&T authorized agent with over 200 years of AT&T technical experience. Call Mark and the gang today at 615-349-8588 or visit them online at abscomm.net. ABS Communications. They make complex simple.
She's with the Associated Press. She just had a sit-down with Amy Adams Strunk, and now she joins us here on the McFarland Show. Teresa, 1, thanks for doing this. 2, how did that all come about?
Well, I am president of the Nashville chapter of the Pro Football Writers of America chapter, and so let's put it this way: once we all kind of got through the dust settling a little bit last Tuesday, and we got the statement, and I'll give the Titans incredible credit. I mean, I saw a tweet, from one of the national folks saying that it was happening, and by the time I walked from the back of my house to my front of the house where I have my home office, I had a statement with from the Titans confirming it. So that. Even as I was firing off texts left and right as I made the walk, they confirmed it. But, we all wanted to talk to Miss Amy to find out, the reason. You don't fire a GM, one that turned around a program that had been 5-27 before his arrival and now is on the verge of, a 7th straight winning season, something this franchise has not done since the run and shoot days. And if they win the AFC South, it'll be the 3rd straight title. They did that last the first 3 seasons of this franchise's existence in the old AFL as the Houston Oilers. So a lot, let's put it this way: the request was sent up the line. The decision was, instead of facing a whole bank of cameras and microphones and everything, there was the choice to do a one-on-one. And let's just say that when the owner wants to do a one-on-one, you say yes. And I said so immediately. So that, and the interview went down Friday afternoon in her office, overlooking the practice field. And so, I know. I'll say this, Darren. I know that there's probably 20 other questions that others would have asked. I tried to make sure I hit all the important questions and cover those topics because let's face it, it was a big move. But if anyone doubts it, she made that decision. It was her decision. She is the controlling owner. She's the woman who, let's not forget, she took over in March of 2015, waited 7 games into the 2015 season, kind of gauging how Ken Wisenhunt was doing, and then fired him on a Tuesday. Now, granted, Ken Wisenhunt went 3-20, one of the worst coaching tenures in NFL history.
But they owed him a pile of money. They owed him a ton of money.
Exactly.
That's your point, to your point, right? I mean, she was willing to do it even though they were going to have to give him a dump truck of money to go away.
$30 million or something.
Thanks to Tommy.
Yes. Her brother-in-law had signed him to a 5-year, $5 million contract. So he was 7 games into the second season. So there was a lot of money going out the door with that decision. And guess what? She had signed John Robinson and Mike Vrabel to extensions that were announced February 8th. So, Adam Schefter says that there's 4 more years left on that deal. So, she decided that, she had seen enough with the roster issues that she was willing to eat some money to find somebody that what John Robinson has done is good. 69-47 is really good. I mean, and he's done tremendous. But in her estimation, he had taken this franchise as far as it could go, and she sees the need to get somebody else in here to take them from division champs to AFC champs to the Super Bowl, which is the end goal.
How long were you in her office with her? Were you just given a specific amount of time, and then it was done, or were you allotted, or were you allowed to go as long as you wanted to?
I went as long as I wanted to, and now granted, I tried to ask every question I could, and of course afterwards, especially when I've talked to people like you, I've come up with another 30 that I could have asked, but no, we sat there and we talked, and went through things pretty easily. It wasn't like we were watching a clock and it's like, hurry up and get her out of here, okay? So she was relaxed, and she made it very, very clear that she made this decision. And, I'd seen a tweet. Somebody said that Mike Keith was on an Knoxville radio station and said that that's kind of her approach. She makes up her mind, and she had decided before going to Philadelphia that she was going to fire John Robinson. It wasn't that A.J. Brown was, the painful reminder and that she was mad and made that move. No, that probably didn't hurt, probably reinforced the decision, but, it kind of drove home some of the roster issues that she mentioned in her statement about roster construction. I mean, the big addition to the offensive line this offseason, Jamarco Jones. And, he never really competed at any point for either of the 2 open jobs. There was a trade, a day before Dennis Daly was likely to be cut by the Carolina Panthers. And he's a guy who, while having played fewer snaps than others, apparently leads the league in most sacks and pressures allowed. So maybe you wait a day. Yes, they're down the waiver wire. Might not have gotten Dennis Daly. Might not have been a bad thing, right? So, and then you look at the receiver situation. Robert Woods, a year after putting all your receiver eggs in the basket of Julio Jones, coming off a hamstring issue the year before, you trade for Bobby Trees. Robert Woods is great, but he tore his ACL November 12th. And, one thing we heard this offseason from Taylor Lewan and Bud Dupree is that it takes a full year, almost plus, to truly get back from an ACL. And yet here you are counting on an 18th overall pick, that you got trading A.J. Brown, Robert Woods. That's your top 2 wide receivers. So you can look and say there wasn't ever really a true investment in the receiver position, the offensive line. Now, Roger Saffold was a left guard and let go, and he's now starting for the Buffalo Bills, who are also one of the people you're chasing a Super Bowl slot against, right? So, people want to point simply to A.J. Brown. It just seems like, now she was not specific with me, but, there were a lot of issues with this roster that she was seeing, and that's why she made this move.
Why do you think she chooses – I mean, this is 7 years. Why do you think – and the answer is absolutely you say yes, Teresa, and that's – nobody has questioned why you got the interview. I guess what I don't understand is she seems more than capable of being able to handle this stuff. And I know all she does, she's done before your interview is typically, a Titans luncheon with questions that she already knew what she was getting, fluff questions, a dinner or whatever. It's all canned. It's all basically she knows what's going to happen, and I don't understand why she's so uncomfortable. I thought, and I said it the whole show last Tuesday, I thought it was incredibly unfair to Mike Vrabel to put him out there to do that press conference. Incredibly unfair. Okay, someone from the organization has to do it, and if she doesn't want to do this stuff, then she needs to get a Sean Henry type with the Titans. Why can't Burke Nihill do it? Why can't, I don't know, Ryan Calden? I don't know him. I've never met him, but he's good enough right now to be the interim, and he's been with them for 7 years. He's been in the NFL for almost 25 years. Then get somebody who can get up there and handle these type of situations. This was a huge, huge story. It wasn't just a local story. It was a national story, and you trotted your head coach out there that had no business answering some of the questions, and it was completely unfair to him, my opinion.
Hey, and I can understand that. I will say this. Mike Vrabel is a well-paid coach, and he is a face of the organization. So I will say that I've been trying to make the argument that she is the owner. It's her team, and I think that she is better talking to media than maybe, here's the thing. She's been a behind-the-scenes person all her life until she took over this team in March of 2015.
Yep.
So, it's not easy to get comfortable looking at a microphone, okay? And there's a reason I'm in print, Darren, rather than behind a microphone, because, it is tough to sit there and look, especially when you're looking at a bank of cameras and, you start thinking about all the ums and the you knows and things like that. But, I did try to make the argument that she defends her decisions very well because, she's a great talker. And I think that, that she can represent herself and her decisions on a broader stage than she has had the opportunity to. And so I definitely, in my position as president of the local chapter, argued, after the interviews, it's like, you know what you're doing. This is your team. You know what you're doing when you make your decisions and when you make your moves. And you're very good at explaining why you do things. So please maybe next time consider talking to all of us because, I do think that she helps herself and this franchise when she's able to step in front of the camera and say, I did this because. And, I didn't, I tried to share video, it was an audio interview, because I'm a print person. But I did to help others. I wanted to make sure that there was some video, audio that could be shared. AP, we're the world's oldest, largest news gathering organization. I wanted to make sure that as many people could have access to that, right? So, I followed up with some of those other questions on camera, and she made it clear. It was my decision. That part about Mike Vrabel giving an ultimatum that she'd seen floating around, she dismissed that in a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I think she, but guess what? She's also busy running an NFL franchise. So not everybody is Jerry Jones who feels the need to run to a microphone every time something goes on with their team.
Yeah, I understand. Just understand that I'm talking to you about this because you talked to her, and none of us get to talk to her. So I'm just very curious about this whole thing. So she told you, at least I want to run this by you. The way I took it is she said basically there is a separation. A general manager and a head coach, they are two different jobs, and they will be held by two different people. Am I reading that wrong?
No, you're absolutely, because that's what I asked. I said, is this where you want Mike Vrabel to, Mike said he had a great working relationship with John Robinson, appreciated how John, let him and his coaches have, some input on the talent evaluation. But then, and I said, so do you want him to be more involved in personnel? And she said she sees being an NFL head coach as a 20-hour-a-day job. Same with GM. That takes all that attention. So, yes, I'm based on what she said, the search is for somebody who is a general manager who handles the talent part of the equation. And, why make the move now? Well, she gets to, Ryan Cowden has been here for, I think this is his 6th or 7th season.
7 years.
Yes, brought in alongside, with John Robinson from from Carolina.
That's correct.
And here, he has been a finalist for jobs each of the last 2 off seasons. Monty Austinford has also interviewed for GM jobs around the league. So you've got some internal candidates. You now get to watch, work and see how they handle things and gauge them as you start putting together your list of outside candidates. So, for people saying, well, why not just wait to the end of the season? She gets to see them work without John Robinson and see how different they might be from the guy that they were working for and doing, he was their boss. So now they get to see what he does a little bit differently maybe. And last Tuesday afternoon, there were like 4 or 5 roster changes, and, they've now played, I don't know how many Arizona ended up playing, but as of yesterday afternoon, the Titans were at an NFL high 80 players. They've had guys on and off the IR. Right now, I think they're at 15 on IR after putting David Long back on there last Saturday and taking 2 off. So, and they've got 4 games to try and continue managing this roster, and she gets to watch them work and evaluate them as they're putting together the list of, what else she's wanting.
Teresa, first of all, 2 things. Number one, as somebody who has sat behind a television camera for, 2006, I've watched you a very long time, ma'am. You could absolutely do this if you wanted to without any question in my mind whatsoever, ma'am. As far as doing broadcasts, if that's what you really wanted to do, no different than Amy Adams Strunk. If she wanted to sit down and talk to the media and set all the cameras in front of her, it's a lot to get used to. I'm not saying it's not, but you guys could absolutely do this kind of thing if you really so felt and desired to do so. The other thing I wanted to get into you very quickly, ma'am, is what is, after you leave that interview with her, what is the most important thing to her, do you believe, after spending the time that you spent with her? What is the most important thing for her and this franchise?
That good isn't good enough. Think about this. For all the winning, 6 straight winning seasons, closing in on a potential 3rd straight division title. In the playoffs, I think if they make it this year, I think it'd be the 4th or 5th time in the last 6 years or something like that. That is not good enough. And we cannot ignore the fact that she has been freeing up. She's the woman, they paid to expand that practice facility over there, okay? She's been staffing up that franchise since she took over. And, she's the one who they paid out of pocket, that family to, expand that facility. They didn't go to Nashville and say, hey, give us some tax credits and money to do this. They did it out of pocket. They are clearing space to, put in with NFL help and PSLs, yes, being sold again for the new stadium, but they're putting in toward $840 million toward a new stadium. They're trying to finish up the financing for that and to get that construction underway and hopefully opening by the 26th season. So, talk about all in. She's all in. I mean, the Adams family through Amy Adams Strunk, Barkley Adams, Kenneth Adams, they have pushed their money into the middle of the table here, investing in this franchise, and division titles aren't enough. People want to say, well, why are they thinking $60,000 for the new stadium? Look, if you have not been to a game, there have been empty seats in that stadium this year for a team that went 12-5 last year. There's so many people that are it's almost like they're waiting. Then they've lost 3 straight playoff games. Tell me, go win a big one for me. Then I'll put my money in. Yeah. That's the feeling I got, is that she's doing absolutely everything that she can, agree or disagree, to get this team to where she wants it to be. And I think that was my biggest takeaway.
All right, Teresa Walker with the Associated Press Hall of Fame. And Teresa, you do a fantastic job with the Associated Press. I respect you deeply as a journalist and the work that you've been able to do over the last number of decades in the service here to our community. So we really appreciate all the time that you spend, and also, the way you conduct the press conference. And I know you don't see it that way, but Coach Vrabel has made it very clear that you get the first question, you set the pace, and things are different because of that. And I have to thank you for that journalistically as well, ma'am. You really do set the tone in that room.
Thank you so much. There's some fans I know that get mad at me, say that I start off with softball questions. But in our business, you save some of the hard questions, the potential ending the interview questions for the end, so that you can get what you need to do your job beforehand.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
It's not an easy thing. And I will say this, thank you for the compliments, but I have done this now for about 3 decades. Let's remember, Amy Adams Strunk has been a private businesswoman until March of 2015 when she became the public face of this franchise. So I've got a couple decades on her in what and the ability to speak on camera, or on video or behind a mic. So it does make a big difference. It takes some getting used to.
Understood, ma'am. Understood.
Thank you, Teresa. Really appreciate your time. Good job, and we'll talk to you down the road.
Thank you so much.
Teresa Walker, Associated Press. We'll come back. More of the McFarland Show next.
Are you looking for a trusted partner who knows AT&T business inside and out? ABS Communications is an organization built on the premise that telecom solutions and working with companies like AT&T can often be complicated, and the customer needs someone to help them navigate through these complexities. They make complex simple. Whether it's helping maintain, manage, or secure your business, ABS Communications is here to help with all your business telecom and mobility needs. Their business was built with the goal of simplifying the process of connectivity for the customer and establishing a long-term relationship of trust through transparency and accountability. ABS Communications is a top 5 AT&T authorized agent with over 200 years of AT&T technical experience. You can call Mark and the gang at 615-349-8588, or you can visit their website at abscomm.net. And remember, mention the McFarland Show to ABS, and you could get up to $250 in a Visa gift card for new ABS business customers.
Where can you save big on Black Friday and go big on the holidays? Lowe's, actually. Find the prices you'll love this season, like $100 savings on a Blackstone 30-inch flat-top grill, now only $299. And your choice of a DeWalt 20-volt max brushless drill kit or impact driver kit for $99. Plus, find gifts exclusively at Lowe's, like a Cobalt 24-volt 500 CFM leaf blower for $99. Black Friday is here. Don't miss the deals at Lowe's. Home to any possibility. Offer valid through 11/30 while supplies last.
Geico presents Daily Affirmations. Repeat after me. We are filled with an abundance of joy.
We are filled with an abundance of joy.
Also an abundance of questions. Good thing Geico has 24/7 claim service to help answer questions and resolve claims quickly.
Good thing Geico has 24/7 claim service.
We are also filled with an abundance of biscuits.
We are also filled with I don't think it works this way.
Oh, and jam. Don't forget jam.
To manifest more Geico in your life, go to geico.com.
This holiday season, tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the hottest gifts from Callaway and Bushnell. The Callaway Rogue ST Woods are designed with AI for faster ball speeds. And while you're there, grab a dozen Callaway Chrome Soft golf balls. And from Bushnell, save up to $75 on the Tour V5 and Tour V5 shipped rangefinders. There's also gift cards for those favorite golfers on your list. Don't miss these holiday gifts and more happening now at Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee.
5-state forecast. Your exclusive National Sports Radio, WNSR Sky Scan forecast. Today's going to be mostly cloudy, high 60. Cloudy with showers becoming likely tonight and Wednesday. The low tonight will be 50. Maybe a thunderstorm Wednesday as well. Temperatures near 60. Sunny Thursday. Utilizing the resources of the Weatherbug Network on National Sports Radio, I'm WNSR's meteorologist, Jim Rinaldi.
Sports Radio, WNSR.
We'll talk to Alex Doherty in the second hour. It'll be about 3:20. We'll shift gears, talk a little Preds.
Good.
Well, I mean,
I got questions for both of you. So let's do it. I'm looking forward to it. Let's do it.
So we will do that coming up at 3:20. Another loss last night.
Yeah.
They talked about. We'll save all that. This team just can't score. It's kind of a problem.
Yeah.
With when the league is scoring a lot.
Well, you have to score goals to win games. You have to, it helps if you
see how much you've learned on the show.
I've learned so much already. You have to
you just brought a tear to my eye.
Put the biscuit in the basket in order to actually take home W's.
615-844-5600. Let's go to Nolensville. Tony, what's up?
Good afternoon, guys.
Afternoon.
On all the sports talk radio shows and newscasts and everything, there's all this we give a lot of praise and a lot of good accolades are passed out and well deserving over the time to Eddie George and everything he's done and brought to this city and so on and so forth. But this debacle that he hired this 22-year-old director of sports football operations, that's a joke, man. There's something I don't know what's behind that, but I don't know no program anywhere where a head coach hired a 22-year-old director of football operations. And then you get what you paid for, per se, with the episode that took place with the assault charges with this particular individual dating one of the football players and having a fling with him, and then attacks him and assaults him and rams cars. And I mean, what a black eye. And you're not hearing nobody talk about it. What's y'all's take on it?
Well, How do I approach this?
Nobody's talking.
No. And I'll take this. This is what people have to understand. People think of the way football organizations and college football organizations are constructed based on what they have known, based on some of the larger schools and larger institutions and things like that. Tennessee State University, their director of football operations and vice president of on-campus recruiting is probably a little different than they are at some other schools. They just don't have the budget. They don't have the staff. Hey, listen.
22-year-old,
I'm not trying to say, Tony, that.
You think Austin P, UT Martin, Tennessee Tech hired a 22-year-old
honestly, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Do you?
We could research it. We could.
We could.
We could do that. I know that.
Tony, this is all I'm saying is.
Don't give them no leeway on this.
I understand, Tony. I understand. Tony, all I'm saying is, do we really know what the director of football operation and on-campus recruiting is really in charge of? I know the title sounds fancy.
Recruiting, on-campus recruiting, I think they're in charge of a lot.
Well, I think at Louisville when Rick Pitino was there, they had a pretty prominent role. What, is that too soon? No?
Well, and listen, how old were they? Were they around the same age? I think they were, and that's part of the issue here. And listen, I don't know either. I'm just saying that you cannot compare some schools to other schools, and some of these titles, even though they sound lofty, I'm not sure how much the director of football operations and on-campus recruiting was really responsible for. Clearly, she was on the staff, not trying to say everything was okay, not trying to say everything was cool. Clearly, it's not. Clearly, it's assault. Clearly, it's a problem. Clearly, it's a PR nightmare for Tennessee State University. Ain't no question about that. I'm just saying, do we really know if this 22-year-old young lady had high responsibilities on the football team or not? That remains to be seen.
Title of director. That's all I'm saying. Anybody got a title director, I think carries a lot of weight in some capacity. I think they would at Channel 17, would they not?
Yeah, at our place, yeah. If you were director of something, that would suggest you were a department head. But that all organizations are not made alike.
I worked with someone that had a director title, and it meant nothing, Tony. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Sometimes it's a position. Sometimes it's a title.
There we go.
That's true.
One other thing.
That's
one
real.
other thing.
George, your thoughts. What?
Let's turn down another road here. This stuff, and Darren, I was listening to you question Teresa. I'm with you 100%. All this stuff hearing Amy talk and all this interview and blah, blah, blah. You can almost, and I had breakfast this morning with 3 or 4 season ticket holders with the Titans, and we all concur on one thing. All this stuff just seems to go with the other rhetoric and other verbiage and cliche phrases that they've talked about over the last 10 or 12 years. You can take all of it and throw it over in a trash can. I mean, it's so much blah, blah, blah this and blah, blah, blah that. You know, from the head coaching hires and fires, I know y'all talked about that a couple of days ago. The coordinators last year, you know, even last year, Bravel said the coordinator was not the defensive coordinator. He was the defensive coordinator. I call the defense. All these things and all this rhetoric all can be thrown over in a trash can, and it just seems like it's the same, some of the same stuff we've heard for many years. You agree with that?
I don't know if I'm following you, Tony, just to be perfectly honest. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that I understand where you're going with this.
It's just like, I'll just put it in a nutshell. With all this being said and everything they hire and let go and what they're doing, and with what's told to us, whether it be through Teresa or through other outlets, it seems to always keep coming back to being an average football team, an average organization, an average product put on the field to the season ticket holders. That's where I'm going.
Okay. All right, Tony. Good stuff. We'll discuss. Thanks for the call as always.
All right, guys. Thanks, buddy.
All right. I think he's going to prompt Carl to call in. What do you think?
That's fine. Yeah, probably so.
Well, because no, I'm saying that because Carl, I think shares the same sentiment that Tony just threw out. Is that fair to say? At least from our conversations with Carl?
That the organization has never done anything,
right.
and it's not really changed, and it's the same organization it's always been.
That's what I was trying to get to. What right? I was a little confused on where he was going. I think in the end, that's what he was saying. Yeah,
people are going to say that until the organization wins the Super Bowl. It's just that is going to live with them until.
Look. We just
right or wrong. It's just gonna live with them until.
The good news is we got time on the other side, so we can begin the second hour with this as well. Because I'm never going to be able to get all this in. The Mike Vrabel, the whole Shane Bowen, that was a disaster. I ripped Mike Vrabel for a good while on that whole situation, how that was handled. I don't know why you guys are getting all upset over it. It's just a title. Mike, just stop it. So I don't need to relive that. I did it for a good while. I hammered Mike Vrabel. It was ridiculous when he did that whole secret, we're not naming anybody a defensive coordinator. Is it Shane Bowen? Is it Mike Vrabel? Who is it? Secret. I've got a secret. And then at the end, he's like, well, I didn't realize that the title was so important. You guys, I was like, stop it. Just stop insulting. So it's things like that I understand, Tony and Carl, right? Like, it's just dumb. Like, you're smarter than that. Like, don't play stupid. Don't be coy with us. Oh, I didn't know. Well, then fine. You drop your title. Everybody's the same. Nobody has titles. Okay, is that what you want? Like, there's titles for a reason. Like, just stop it, Mike. And I've sat here and I've praised Amy Adams Strunk, even though I've never met her. I have no clue what she's really like. I've never spent any time around her. I've never had a conversation with her. It's not for lack of trying. I've been at training camps. She's been right there. Tried to get around. Couldn't do it. So whatever. The point is, things have gotten better. They have. Okay? They have. But yes, there are missteps. Remember last time Carl called in, I said, they are better. Are they perfect? No. Are they a well-oiled machine now? No. Is everything fine now? Nothing to see here with the Titans? No. The question is, Is it better than 7 years ago? The answer is emphatically yes.
Yeah.
It is. They're a better organization.
But they still haven't won the Super Bowl, though.
Yeah.
So if they still haven't won the Super Bowl, that means they are still terrible. And I'm saying that because that is the feeling of a lot of Titans fans who are not looking at the minutia and getting into the fabric of the organization. All they see is the results. The results are they're still losing in the playoffs. They're still losing home playoff games. They still haven't won the Super Bowl. And that's what a lot of people are saying, whether it's right or wrong. And they haven't done anything. We had these meetings talking about the stadium. Legit, Darren. One lady stood up. She said, I don't see why we should give them a stadium. They haven't won the Super Bowl in 23 years. Therefore, they're not a successful organization.
What? All right.
Real talk.
Okay, we're going to touch on that. Hour number 2, plus your phone calls next.
On air and online, Sports Radio WNSR, Brentwood, Nashville.
ABC News, I'm Marina Roy. Federal authorities laid out charges against Sam Bankman-Fried, including defrauding customers from the FTX cryptocurrency firm. Damian Williams, U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, says it's an all-hands-on-deck investigation.
Bankman-Fried and his co-conspirators stole billions of dollars from FTX customers. He used that money for his personal benefit, including to make personal investments and to cover expenses and debts of his hedge fund, Alameda Research.
Federal authorities say they are working to recover money for investors. Bankman-Fried was arrested in the Bahamas yesterday. The Consumer Price Index, which tracks the cost of goods, shows inflation rose 7.1% in November compared to a year ago. That's still high, but down from October. Signs prices are starting to come down. A massive storm is sweeping across the country, with heavy rain and tornadoes reported in North Texas and Oklahoma. This is ABC News.
Dad, I don't feel good.
I'll grab the Vicks DayQuil Kids Honey.
Isn't DayQuil just for parents?
Actually, Vicks DayQuil Kids Honey is just for kids, specially designed to treat kids' most bothersome cold symptoms quickly with a honeylicious tasting flavor kids like.
You know what else kids like?
DayQuil Kids Honey first, then video games.
Deal.
Vicks DayQuil Kids Honey. The kids' honeylicious daytime coughing, congestion, stuffy head, stuffy nose medicine. Safe for ages 6+.
I wanted to know why some people who get COVID-19 get it so bad. I found out it may be because they have a high risk factor, such as heart disease, diabetes, being overweight, smoking, and asthma. Even if symptoms feel mild, these factors can increase your risk of COVID-19 turning severe. So if you're at high risk and test positive, there are things you can do, like asking your healthcare provider if an authorized oral treatment is right for you. Learn about an option at treatcovid19.com. This message is sponsored by Pfizer.
Are you tired of your current vehicle? Maybe looking for a new or pre-owned vehicle? Hey guys, it's Zach. Hayes Nissan of Rivergate is the best choice for your vehicle needs. Located at 1550 Gallatin Pike North in Madison, Hayes Nissan of Rivergate has been serving the Middle Tennessee community for over 3 decades. That gives you confidence that Hayes Nissan of Rivergate can find the perfect vehicle for your lifestyle and your budget. Their friendly and knowledgeable staff will make sure you are taken care of. I should know because I've seen it firsthand. Every vehicle I've purchased has been from Hayes Nissan of Rivergate, and I love the entire process. Now, I don't want you to forget about their award-winning parts and service department. It has everything you need to get you back on the road. Go visit them on the web at nissanofrivergate.com. They're open there 24/7, 365 days a year. Or give them a call at 615-865-7220. Again, that number is 615-865-7220. That's Hayes Nissan of Rivergate, where your dollar always goes farther.
Listen, you can't handle the truth. It's about to go off. Live from the WNSR Strike and Spare Studios.
Just a bit outside.
Now back to the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Show me the money!
Call now at 615-844-5600.
Oh, righty there.
Now the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
Second hour on this Tuesday afternoon. Hope everybody's having a great day so far. Darren and Justin here with you from our Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio. You can watch us live every day, 2 to 4, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We try to get cleaned up for you. I think you'd probably still watch even if we weren't, but we do. 615-844-5600 is our number. Alex Doherty will join us at 3:20. We'll switch gears and talk a little bit about the Preds. Let's go down to Columbia. Nate is up next. Nate, what's up?
What's up, guys? Hearing what Teresa had to say about what Amy Adams Strunk said why she made the decision to part of the reason to let this have the decision to let go John Robinson in the middle of the season is to basically evaluate his potential predecessor without him around. Does that make y'all feel better? And if not feel better, at least have a little bit more of a better understanding? Because I didn't think about that, but when she said that, I was like, oh, that makes total sense that I should have thought about.
But because she did say that she was going to wait, if they had to wait till after the Super Bowl, they would, right? Did she say something like that?
Yes.
Are you talking? So you're talking about Ryan Cowden? Is that what you're talking about, Nate?
Yeah. She said that Teresa said that if Amy wanted to let him go in the middle of the season so she could, I guess the way I understood it was she could see how Ryan Cowan would make decisions in the future if, away from John Robinson.
That makes no sense to me. I mean, literally no sense to me. That's just me. I don't understand that. Ryan Cowden's been in the building for 7 years. I mean, you either know or you don't. He's been in the league for 23 years.
Well, Darren, she may not know how he would do the job. He know how he served as a deputy to John Robinson, but that doesn't mean he's agreed with all John Robinson's decisions, though.
December and January moves are going to determine whether he gets to keep the GM job or not? What December? Shifting around practice squad guys? That's going to determine whether this guy can be a general manager, whether he's ready to tackle free agency, whether he's ready to tackle the draft.
I don't think it determines that, Darren, but what I think it determines is whether or not she can have a good one-on-one working relationship with this individual without John Robinson.
He's been in the building for 7 years.
And whether or not that this man can actually make the decisions that she may be comfortable with within the building, and it's a dry run. Is it ideal? No, it's not ideal, but this is what we have.
I'm saying I don't believe it. Okay, that's fine. I don't believe it. I don't believe that.
Okay.
I just don't. Like today, we'll say Ryan Cowden. Nate, give me your thoughts. Ryan Cowden today has announced the Titans have signed quarterback Kevin Hogan to the practice squad.
Stanford.
Outside linebacker Zach McLeod to the practice squad.
Don't know where he was.
And they've brought back guard Jordan Roos. Your thoughts? Would you like to see him in the next GM?
Roos.
What do you think of those moves? Mind-blowing? Underwhelming? What do you think?
Pretty lukewarm to me.
Yeah, that's the point. I'm being a smart you-know-what. Because what are we going to learn in December moves? I mean, look, Justin, what you're saying, I'll buy. I understand what you're saying.
I'm not the one selling it.
I know what you're saying. I don't buy it. I just don't believe that. Like, it doesn't make why is it nobody can understand why this happened? It doesn't make any sense. Teresa just got on here and said, wait a minute, her mind was made up before the Philadelphia game. Really? So are you telling me if they went to Philadelphia and beat the Eagles 35-7, John Robinson was getting fired on Monday or Tuesday morning? Are you telling me that?
I don't know. I don't know.
Anyone?
I don't know.
Anyone?
It's possible.
It's possible?
It's possible.
It'd be hard-pressed.
8-4. They just beat the number one team in the league at their place 35-7, and John Robinson's he's gone. Really?
If she had made the decision to do it,
let's take a healthy dose of common sense. Come on.
Listen, but see, here's the other part about this though. and it's understandable. I want you to know that I understand what you're saying, and what you're saying is completely believable and understandable. But you don't believe that the whole Mike Mularkey thing wasn't decided beforehand either, and he won a playoff game and he let him go. You think that decision was made before he won a playoff game?
Yes.
Wouldn't the same thing apply? If he if he goes on the road and beat Kansas City and beats Andy Reid and Alex Smith, you're gonna fire the guy? That decision's already been made. You're gonna tell me if he goes up there and wins a playoff game, it doesn't change his mind? Really? Doesn't this? And they did it. So what? So why is this different all of a sudden? Why is it now? Well, if they go beat Philadelphia, they couldn't have. Why? She fired the guy after winning a road playoff game, the first one in a decade, by the way, and they fired him. So what's the difference this time?
Look, I don't need you coming back with good examples, all right? This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. How dare you come back with a good example? We're playing chess.
All right, Mike Variable.
Just let me checkmate you, okay? What the hell's going on here?
You called me for this job, okay? I was taking a nap. Darren called me. You brought me in here. You could have had some other folks, but no, you called me. So, hey, this is what you get.
Well done.
By the way, guys, before y'all have Alex Daugherty on, last night, woof.
Well, wolf in what way? What was your top wolf?
I mean, I understand Bennington is Bennington, but the Blues aren't necessarily world beaters this year.
No, they're not. They are not.
So,
yeah, it's not. Look, it's not good. I mean, it's not good. I said that yesterday when Bob and Antioch called in. I mean, when he keeps asking, what do you think of this team? And I said my answer's changed from a month ago when I'm like, this team is talented enough. I still believe they are. Then why aren't things working? Then, I get it right now. They've got a rash of injuries. I understand that. They're getting littered with it. But this team can't score. They couldn't score when they did have everybody out there. So is it the system? Like, what is it? What's going on where, I mean, this just in, okay? I don't have to have a bunch of degrees up on the wall or be splitting atoms to say this. If you don't put the biscuit, as you said, Justin, the biscuit in the basket tonight.
Biscuit in the basket.
It's going to get ugly. Because let me tell you something. You ain't beating Edmonton 1-0 or 2-1.
No. Firepower over there.
Yeah, I'm just looking forward to seeing Connor McDavid tonight. I don't know if I have high hopes for tonight or not. So
yeah, well, I mean, we'll see. Nate, appreciate the phone call as always.
Before we get too far away, and we're going to get into the Predators coming up in a second, I wanted to, because I promised this before. I said there was a woman who showed up, and by the way, they've had the last of these public meetings to hear about the stadium and whether or not the stadium is going to get built or not. They were taking public comment. So we have now had several of these meetings. We have heard from dozens and dozens of people about the stadium and whether or not they're going to build it. And some people feel strongly one way or the other about it. And so I wanted you to be able to hear a little bit of a sample of some of the things that people have been saying here. And I brought up the fact that there was one woman in particular who said that the team is not successful because they have not won the Super Bowl the whole time in which they've been here. So we're gonna get to that coming up here in a couple of seconds here, Darren, because I wanted you to be able to go ahead and respond to some of the things that people are saying about the success of this franchise, one way or the other here, as far as if the Titans deserve people standing by them during this time of difficulty that they're having.
By the way, Kim on Twitter says she agrees with me.
Okay.
J-Rob wasn't getting fired after a win. Maybe at the end of the season, but not at least on Tuesday.
Okay. Well,
thank you, Kim.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you for listening. Appreciate your time.
Even with your counter move, she agrees with me. Thank you, Kim.
Is Kim your cousin? Is that another guy? Is it Kim McFarland? No,
I don't think it's
because I have a sister
Could you
named Kim
imagine
McFarland. So
if we added another McFarland.
I mean,
to the
I'm
show?
just saying. I don't know who that is, but it's fine. Good for Kim.
How many McFarlands do you think we could grab for this show?
Quite a few.
You think?
Oh yeah. I mean, if we wanted to do all that, we can get quite a few in here, I
Okay.
imagine. But I don't know. I don't know if there's enough microphones in here to deal with all of that. But we absolutely could add more. It would just be,
What if we
a
just
bit of
had
an
a
overload there.
room full of McFarlands?
Boy, that would be
Would that go well or poorly, you think?
poorly.
Yeah.
Well, it would go well at first.
My
and
side
then
would be poorly.
It would go well at first, and then it would slide off into poor eventually here is what would happen. Devlin, my man, can we get that sound real quick before we get too far away? Are we still, is the computer tied up? I'm sorry. We're going behind the scenes here. We're good to go? Darren, just listen to this, please.
They're fine and dandy, but being born in 2000, the last time they had a chance to go into the Super Bowl was 99. So I've never seen a successful team. So I'm kind of confused while we're here because it seems like the only revenue that's coming from the whole thing is from the Village, not really the Titans, because again, we don't have a Super Bowl competing team. That's just huge.
We don't have a Super Bowl competing team.
The whole time they've been here. That's what she said.
So, really?
That's what she says. She says, it's just that one time in 99. And
Really? Huh.
Other than that.
So last year, they were the 1 seed, and they're not competing
she says
for
the
a Super
team
Bowl.
is not successful.
Oh, and so now.
And she says, I don't know why we're even here.
Just so I'm wrapping my head around
Yes.
this. This person, what does this person have a name?
Okay, I mean, we could do that, but why are we doing that to people?
Is this an actual councilwoman? Is this
No. This is just a
the
regular
general
citizen.
public?
Yes, this is general public.
Okay, well,
this
that
woman
makes
is not
sense.
responsible for anything.
Okay, well,
I'm just saying, we were talking about the feeling
this
of
is
people.
why I know. It's like, I feel sorry for them having to sit through those meetings, like having people get up and say just the stupidity like that right there. So let me get this straight. So now no arena or no stadium is going to get built in this country unless the team is winning it all. Is that what I'm getting at?
It's all about how you define
so
success.
you have to have championships to
She
get a
says
new
the team has
arena
not been
or
successful.
And they haven't been successful, really. So they've been the 1 seed 3 times. But they're not successful. What?
So here's the thing, and my message.
I guess if you're saying they haven't won a Super Bowl, then yes, if that's your standard of success, then again, why are the Bills building a new stadium?
I don't know. The question I would have for that nice lady right there is, and I don't think she would know the answer to this, but I would ask her anyway, is who is the most valuable franchise in the National Football League? The most valuable franchise.
The Dallas Cowboys.
The Dallas Cowboys. They're worth about $5-6 billion. If
Why
not
did they
more.
build that new stadium?
But when's the last time the Dallas Cowboys won the Super Bowl?
25 years, 30 years ago?
30 years ago.
30 years ago.
Are they a successful franchise? But if they're not a successful franchise, how come they worth $5 billion, $6 billion? If they're not a successful franchise.
And by the way, have you been to their new home?
I have.
I have too.
It's
many times.
It's
quite nice.
It's impressive.
They hadn't won hardly anything when they built that.
It's very impressive.
By the way, the resume looks the same.
Roughly.
Right?
Some playoff, appearances.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe even a win or two, but not really sustained.
By the way, who won the Super Bowl last year?
That would be the Los Angeles Rams.
How many Super Bowls did they have before they built SoFi?
In their history, 2, I think. 2 or 3, maybe.
St. Louis or L.A.?
Oh, I'm talking about the Rams as a franchise in total.
I'm talking about L.A.
Oh, you're talking about the L.A. Rams.
L.A. Rams.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
L.A.
Okay. The one? Maybe? No, none.
Vince
None.
Ferragamo in '79 Rams lost to the Steelers.
Yes. Okay.
So
sorry, I had to roll back through.
Why'd they build SoFi?
Had to go back to the NFL films in my mind.
Oh, wait
there.
a minute. And they won a Super Bowl after they built it? What?
They did.
What?
They did. At home.
At home.
Crazy.
I know.
Back to back, too. Tampa did it the year before.
That
Nuts.
is crazy.
Yeah, that is really crazy. Their stadium wasn't new, but still.
So how How many Super Bowls have the Vikings won?
That would be none.
None?
None.
Why did they build that glass house?
They've been to several, but
in Minneapolis.
and not in a long time either. But
why'd they build that?
Apparently, the people of Minnesota had pity on them. Apparently, that's
like
what we're going.
They have different standards.
They have different standards. I'm just saying, people are going to say what they're going to say about the Tennessee Titans, like that lady right there, until they win a Super Bowl. Because in some people's minds, only winning the Super Bowl is success, and everything else falls well short. So if you haven't won the championship, then you don't deserve anything. That is the feeling of some, and that is going to hang over them.
So this city doesn't deserve to host a Super Bowl, a Final Four, a college football national championship, a SummerSlam, the biggest concerts in the world. I can go on and on and on.
Sure.
We don't deserve that in this market because the Titans haven't won a Super Bowl yet?
She doesn't feel like the team has been successful.
Huh. Okay. Wow. All right.
That's going to be out there, too. That's going to hang out.
Okay.
Until this team went, you're going to have people like Carl was feeling, prior to you turning Carl around. They're gonna feel like that. They're going to feel like the team has not done anything. And it's out there in the street. You meet people all the time. What do you think about the Titans? The Titans ain't done nothing. They ain't never won a Super Bowl. So, I mean, just waste time.
Okay. All righty then. Let's switch gears. We're bringing Alex Doherty. We'll talk about the Preds. That's just the silliest thing. I don't even have any words.
I know.
It's so silly.
It's a different universe.
I don't even have words.
It's a different universe. But they're out there. They're everywhere. They're all over the city.
It's a waste of good oxygen talking about that. That's just, oh, boy. Boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. We'll talk to Alex Doherty. We'll do that next on the McFarland Show.
Now's the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sports book right now. New customers, no sweat, first bet up to $1,000 free bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Sign up with the promo code GregP. FanDuel has all the kind of ways you want to play, from the money line to point spreads, to player props, to same-game parlays, live betting, updated odds, in-game, on and on and on. And it's all the sports, right? It's all the sports. And all that on that app. It's safe, secure, super easy to use. Sign up today, promo code GregP for that no-sweat first bet. Promo code GregP.
That's promo code GregP.
Indeed. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Now, you got to be 21 and older, present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable. Free bets expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line 1-800-889-9789.
Attention. If you owe back taxes to the IRS, this message is for you. Congress has passed $80 billion in funding to more than double the size of the IRS. 87,000 new IRS employees means more audits, collections, and penalties. This will make the IRS larger than the Pentagon, State Department, FBI, and Border Control combined. Now is the time to call Civic Tax Relief.
I owed the IRS $37,000. Civic Tax Relief basically represented me against the IRS, and by the time everything was completed, I didn't owe the IRS anything.
Their tax resolution specialists can stop the IRS from taking money out of your paycheck.
With Civic Tax Relief, they were able to save me upwards of $80,000 that I would have had to pay.
For your free tax relief information, call now. 800-841-0908. 800-841-0908.
I would recommend anyone who has a tax problem to contact Civic Tax Relief.
800-841-0908.
Tired of the same old company holiday party and looking to reward your team with a fun night out? What about something different for a birthday party or group gathering? Hello, this is Philip Cox with Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers, and we specialize in group events no matter the size at our Tusculum, Donaldson, Hermitage, Murfreesboro, and Hendersonville locations. Plus, Hendersonville and Murfreesboro offer enhanced entertainment options with bumper cars, laser tag, roller skating, and more. 'Tis the season to have fun with family, friends, and business associates, and there's no better place to do it than at Strike and Spare Family and Fun Center. Visit strikeandspare.com to learn about the group outing option. Strike and Spare, where fun is bowling.
It's the afternoon stretch with Zach Williams and Bruno Reagan.
You know what the Mets stand for?
Metropolitan.
Yeah, that one.
Metropolitan is a flavor of ice cream, right?
Neapolitan.
Oh, okay.
Was that real?
I mean, half and half.
Oh, man. You talk about throwing me off complete. My equator is gone.
The Afternoon Stretch. Afternoon Stretch with Zach Williams and Bruno Reagan.
Back here on the McFarland Show on this Tuesday afternoon. Man, it has been a spirited show. Darren and Justin
It
here
has.
with you. It's been good. Well, let's keep the spirits going. Alex Doherty covers the Preds for A to Z Sports, now joins us. Alex, what's up?
How is it going, everyone? It has been a busy weekend, has it not?
Yeah, it's been busy. As I said yesterday on the show, let's just say it wasn't a great weekend locally. Let's just start there. I got to begin with the obvious. Eeli Tolvanen. He was claimed by Seattle about an hour before we took to the airwaves yesterday. I wasn't surprised at all. People were asking me, do you think he's going to get claimed? And I was like, 100% yes. I guess I shouldn't have said 100%. Probably should have said 99.9% yes, but I felt pretty strongly. It was the Seattle Kraken who did claim him. Overall, just your thoughts on the move. A lot of people are like, why did you try to trade him? Well, I mean, without knowing for sure, but don't you think David Poile did try to trade him and couldn't? Just what were your thoughts on the move?
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely in shock when I saw the news on Sunday morning that he had been waived. If you remember, only moments before that, they had announced, the league had announced that Michael McCarron was entering the player assistance program. So just behind the curtain a little bit, I was literally in the middle of a piece, just putting up a news piece about Michael McCarron on the A to Z Sports website. And part of that news piece, I was writing the sentence, Eeli Tolvanen seems the likely choice to go into Michael McCarron's spot in the lineup. He's been healthy scratched 7 times. Look for him to get the start on Monday against the Blues. And then before I posted it, I get a text that says Eeli Tolvanen just been waived. I was in complete shock. I did not see that coming. I mean, did they try to trade him? I don't think we're going to know the answer to that. I feel like probably they had no leverage at all in the situation. I mean, that's what happens when you have a guy on your roster that you're not even playing and you don't have any room on your roster to keep, really, because now you're running into a cap situation and the other teams are like, well, no, we don't feel the need to give you anything for this. We'll just have you waive him and take our chances on the waiver wire. And that's what happened, and Seattle was the lucky winner. So I was shocked that it happened. The timing is weird. It means that the team is really kind of all hands on deck right now because they are really thin at roster spots and cap money and everywhere. So, yeah, very, very shocking move in my opinion.
He had 11 goals last year. That was tied for his career high, but, he did it the year before and I think he played 35 less games and still had 11 goals. He was brought in here he was drafted in the first round to be a goal scorer. All we had heard is his shot, and certainly he garnered huge accolades when he was playing over in Russia and in Europe on the bigger ice. And it just, playing on the North American ice, it didn't translate to the level that everybody thought it was going to translate. Why do you think? I mean, they tried putting him on the power play. They tried to do things here and there, put him on the top 6. It just didn't translate to him being – I mean, if you'd have told me a full season, was he going to be a 20-goal scorer, I would have said yes. And it didn't happen. And he didn't even really – he barely got halfway there. Why do you think it didn't work here?
Yeah, I think you're onto something. I think his skill set is a little bit overhyped. I hesitate to say that because when you have a certain skill, like one particular skill in your whole arsenal is as good as his was, it's really hard to say, oh, well, that's why he didn't make it because he couldn't do anything else. But I just think that when you create offense, I mean, if he's a guy that can just stand in one area and just fire shots from one spot at the same rate, yeah, he'll be a 20, 30, 40-goal scorer. But unfortunately, that's not how hockey works. I mean, it is such a fluid game. It requires so much other work to get in position to shoot a goal or to score a goal, and he couldn't really do those things. take a guy like Forsberg, for example. I think you'd rather have, I mean, obviously Forsberg's a better player than Tolvanen, but Forsberg's individual skill set, if you just isolated any one of them, maybe doesn't stand out against any other players. He's not the fastest. He's not the biggest. He doesn't have the best shot, and he doesn't have the best passing ability. But he has enough of those skill sets across the board that makes him a really good overall well-rounded player. He can create offense on his own. He can dish it off when he's not in position to shoot. And he can also shoot when it counts. Tolvanen just had one skill set. He could shoot well. That was it. He really couldn't do much else. The frustrating part for me, I think, or probably for Tolvanen, I think frustrating for him would be he really did everything asked of him. Hines asked him to play a good defensive game, and I think he did that. I think he did pretty good at it, but it still wasn't enough, and he couldn't stay in the lineup, and now he's in Seattle. So it just comes down to not having enough of the skills necessary to play what John Hines wanted him to play.
Now we'll see if it translates to Seattle, and only time will tell. And obviously, it won't be good if all of a sudden he just starts scoring goals in Seattle with the Kraken. So with that being said, why is this team struggling so much, Alex, to put the puck in the back of the net? I mean, other than the Chicago Blackhawks, that is the only team in the league that has scored fewer goals than the Nashville Predators. And, of course, last night they lose in overtime to the Blues, 1-0. They went, 62 and a half minutes without a goal before, unfortunately, a rebound cost them the game. Why is this team, in your opinion, having such a hard time scoring?
Yeah, it's pretty confusing. I mean, I think the number one thing is you have to blame the people who are being paid the most to do this. And right now, Forsberg, Duchesne, Johansson, Granlund, you could even go down to some of the other guys that aren't paid quite as much, like Tanner Jeannot, Jakob Trinan, Colton Sissons. Those guys, all of those names I mentioned were huge producers last year. I mean, their offense wasn't crazy good last year, but it was much better than it is now, and none of those guys are producing the way they really need to. Nino Niederreiter, the major offseason acquisition, is the only guy in double digits. Where would they be without Nino Niederreiter? They would be maybe the worst offense in the NHL, maybe even the worst one we've ever seen. I mean, it would be pathetic if they didn't even have his 10 goals. So I think it comes down to that none of them are gelling right now. None of them are really in rhythm. It all feels like individual parts trying to just do their own thing. Roman Josi I think he's just having to do too much as well. I can't pinpoint exactly what it is, but if they don't get that resolved, this team will definitely not make the playoffs, and they will have serious issues in terms of how do you even piece this together going forward? Because if your main 30 to 40 million of your cap that's devoted to offense is 29th or 30th in the league at the end of the year, you can't come back next year with all those players in place. Like, you have to make major changes.
Alex, my question is this. At what point, and we struggle with this in football as well from time to time, as the coaches come in, they have a game plan, they have a plan of attack, they continue to work that. When it's not working, they don't want to change it. They just want to work harder at the plan. At what point does the Nashville Predators have to do radical changes? I'm talking about turn the lineup upside down. We're switching the whole lines. We're putting people all kinds of different places. We're cutting guys. We're bringing everybody up from Milwaukee for a whole week. We're doing all kinds of silly stuff. At what point do the Predators get to that point where they need to try something massive in order to make a change?
It sounds like you might be referencing another team that plays in Nashville that has similar issues in terms of not changing their mindset.
I'm not suggesting that, Alex. I'm not suggesting we fire the general manager. I don't want to play that game. I'm just asking, at what point does the head coach turn everything upside down? Or do we get there? Or do we just keep going down this path and just hope that it gets better at some point?
I think the problem is the problems that were resolved. The problems that David Poile solved by hiring John Hines have been solved, I think, And what I mean is, when Laviolette was fired, the biggest issue was the team wasn't tough anymore. The team could not handle another team physically. They were getting beat up every time. You saw that in the Dallas Stars series. You saw that in plenty of regular season games. That was the main issue, and that was the number one complaint. People forget that, but it was like the team wasn't tough to play against anymore. They weren't tough mentally. I think that John Hines did solve this problem. I think that they are a tough team to play against in terms of physically on the ice. It's not fun to play against them because they're going to be physical with you. But they've not added to that by getting any more skill or offensive punch, right? So I don't know. I mean, I would think if I'm David Poile, I think, okay, well, I did hire the guy to do this one thing, and he has done it. But now we need to improve by getting a better offensive threat. I mean, the number one way to be hard to play against is if you're putting the puck in the other team's net all the time, and they don't like that. So I don't know. I just, is the problem that this is John Hines' ceiling? All he can really do is turn a team's mental toughness kind of around and get him back to that point, and then you got to bring someone else in to turn on the offense. I don't know, but I don't think that Dave Poile is going to make a change anytime soon. He just extended the guy 2 more years, so 1 more year beyond this one. David Poile doesn't seem to be going anywhere, so it seems like that's all in place. All the assistant coaches are pretty much in place as well. I certainly don't think there's any leadership changes coming. It's just going to come down to personnel producing. So if they can do that, I think that you'll see something similar to last year. But, man, it's really rough. I don't know. Maybe Derrick Henry is the answer. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. We're talking about the Predators. Sorry.
Question, and you know I'm on my hockey journey here. And so this is an honest question I've got here, honestly. Is it possible that everybody else just got better? I mean, just much better than the Predators got in the offseason. Everybody makes moves, right? Everybody, is doing things to try to improve their team. Is it possible that the Predators that the Predators just haven't moved the needle far enough as far as getting better compared to the teams around them?
Like, let me give a for example. Okay?
Feel free. Do you understand what I'm getting at, Darren?
So, yeah, no, I do. So tell us why Winnipeg is atop the Central. Why? What did they do? Well, Dallas just keeps getting older, and I know they've got some young, Heiskanen and Robertson and some young guys. By the way, Robertson is playing out of his mind. But they've also got some aging guys, and they it doesn't like they've got this world beater in net. Minnesota lost Kevin Fiala. He had 30-something goals last year. Why are those teams continuing to plug along? And why is Winnipeg have this resurgence? Why are they atop the division? Why does Dallas never seem to go away?
Well, I mean, I think the Winnipeg thing could definitely be a coaching situation. I mean, they got a new coach in there. Same thing with Dallas. I mean, Dallas and Winnipeg rolling with new coaches. There could be something to that, right? I mean, they have basically the same lineups except for obviously Minnesota without Kevin Fiala, but Minnesota was pretty good last year, even the rest of their lineup too. I think the answer to the question is, yeah, everyone, the entire rest of the league is constantly finding new ways to get better, and I just think that Poile and the Predators are kind of trying to do the same things, throwing the same dart at the same dartboard every time, trying to find a new way to do it, but are not able to find a new way to do it. They have really been the victim of following their own game plan every single year and just hoping that it works this time, right? I mean,
well, that's what I'm getting at. I mean, that's why I'm bringing Alex. Who's the coach of Winnipeg? I mean, you know where I'm going with this. It's Rick Bowness. Where'd he come from?
Rick Bowness,
Dallas. Okay,
yeah.
So Rick Bowness is he's out in Dallas. He goes to Winnipeg. Winnipeg was terrible last year. Now they're sitting atop the division. Dallas loses Rick Bowness, and they're in what? Second place. Well, why didn't it affect them? I mean,
because they got Pete DeBoer. They got a new coach too. I mean, the coaching cycle. I mean, I think what you're saying is that the coach is kind of the main issue. It very well could be, but I don't know that you can ask John Hines to. I mean, look, if you wanted John Hines to be a revolutionary kind of new age coach, I think that was probably that was not really in the cards. I think we kind of know what kind of coach he is. I think his ceiling is probably just making the playoffs. I don't think he's the kind of coach that's going to take him to the championship. Maybe that was not really the expectation, but I don't know.
No. Hold on, Mr. Alex. How is that not the expectation at this point for this particular franchise? Everything that Sean Henry and everybody else has told us is that this franchise is focused on winning the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
So how would they hire a head coach and that not be the expectation?
Because they have said more than once, David Poyle has said more than once he wants to remain competitive. Of course they're going to say that they want to remain in the hunt for the Stanley Cup, but for that franchise right now, it seems more about they want to just remain competitive from year to year, make the playoffs every year, and John Hines was probably a guy that was going to allow them to do that. Maybe in their mind they think he is the kind of coach that's going to take them there. I don't know exactly how they assessed his coaching ceiling, but I don't see it really. I think he's probably the kind of guy that's going to maintain and get the team kind of on the right track again in terms of being competitive. But that team does not. They don't want to. The number one reason they don't want to tank and they don't want to go into the bottom of the league in order to get a top draft pick is because they want butts and seats every night. They don't want to deal with having 8,000 fans on a Tuesday. They want people in the seats so that they can continue, the vibe of the Nashville Predators on Broadway, which, in my opinion, is not even close to what it was 5 years ago. So,
yeah, look,
it'd be tough to reach where they were 5 years ago.
For a business model, would anybody blame them? Who wants that? I know. I used to sit in Bridgestone Arena on Tuesday nights against Edmonton Oilers, and there would be 8,000 people in there. So I know what it looks like. It's not anything anybody want to go back to, right? Nobody wants that.
I think the biggest issue, is kind of what I said earlier about the game plan. Like, I think that they get in their minds, okay, they have this in their minds, like, maybe if we just keep finding these little small draft picks like a Pekka Rinne or a Victor Arvidsson, and that will carry us to another Cup final. If we're able to develop just a few good defensemen, we'll have a good defensive core that can carry us there because defense wins championships. That is not the model of this league anymore. You need young, fast, skilled players like we're going to see tonight in Edmonton with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl and tons of other guys who are going to be able to skate laps around a defense that now has some AHL guys out there because of injuries and is trying somehow to create offense when basically they can't even get the puck out of their own zone. So, I don't. I think the answer is I don't know. I don't really know what they're thinking in their mind or why they've made some of the choices they've made, especially this Eeli Tolvanen one. But we'll see where it goes. I don't think anyone expected John Robinson to get fired either. So who knows? Yeah, well, it's been interesting, that's for sure, in this market, and that's okay. And that's what we're here for. Alex, appreciate the visit as always, and we'll talk to you soon. Absolutely. Y'all take it easy.
Alex Storton covers the Predators for A to Z Sports. We'll touch on that and more on the other side. By the way, 615-844-5600 is our number. More of the McFarland Show next.
Hey guys, it's Zach. Give the gift of play with a team at Play It Again Sports in Brentwood and Hendersonville. Stop in and stock up on a huge selection of new and gently used gear and equipment. Their 12 Very Merry Holiday deal starts Tuesday, December 13th and runs through Saturday, December 24th. The sale features over 50 limited quantity hot buy specials and 12 unique daily deal specials, one per day. So if you're looking for that perfect gift for the sports enthusiasts in your life, then Play It Again Sports in Brentwood and Hendersonville has it all covered for you. If you have sports equipment you no longer use or doesn't fit, you can trade it in for either cash for holiday gifts or for store credit towards your next purchase. You can be like me and upgrade your golf bag. I'm always in the Hendersonville store checking out the used golf clubs they have there, trying to fix my game. Make sure you tell them your buddy Zach over here at Nashville Sports Radio sent you, and give the gift of play this holiday season with the good folks over at Play It Again Sports in Brentwood and Hendersonville.
Are you over 50? Would you like to get up to 33% more income in retirement? Then call now for this free book, Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers, from a leading financial firm on maximizing your income in retirement. That's right, free. This free book reveals little-known truths about annuities in simple-to-understand terms that will help you make the right choices before buying an annuity. And it's free. As a bonus, we'll also throw in a free annuity rate report summarizing the rates and benefits from financially strong insurers.
Call 800-715-9880.
That's right, Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers and Annuity Rate Report, both absolutely free for calling today.
Call 800-715-9880. That's 800-715-9880.
Sponsored by Annuity General. Producers have the appropriate licenses for the products they offer. Increased income is possible using strategies suited to your goals and may require buying multiple annuities and holding them full term.
From the big game to the big dance, Bar Lines at the Omni Nashville Hotel downtown is your game day and watch party headquarters. Don't worry about entertaining guests and trying to feed everyone. Sit back, relax, cheer on your team, and let the Bar Lines staff take care of you. Grab a Bar Lines signature cocktail and enjoy some wicked deviled eggs, or a Bar Lines double stack, and finish it off with some Jack and Coke chocolate cake. Bust your belly and your bracket at Bar Lines, located in the Omni Nashville Hotel, 5th Avenue, downtown.
It's a Bill King Show.
If Nick coached another 7-8 years, I would not be shocked at all. I wouldn't be. Now, I'm not predicting it because I don't think you can predict that kind of thing. We don't know that. If he coached to 80, I would not be flabbergasted.
Weekday mornings beginning at 6 on Sports Radio 560 on 95.9 FM.
Been a fun show. We've covered a lot of ground.
Yeah.
Sad news about Mike Leach.
Boy.
Learned that he passed away at 61, way too soon. Kyler Murray leaves the game in the first quarter last night. Torn ACL.
Done.
He's done for the season.
Done.
Cardinals are done. Cliff Kingsbury, soon to be done. Talking about the franchises in this market, what's interesting is we got into this yesterday, Justin, and it is very clear, talking Titans and Preds, that this market's getting really itchy, right? It's getting itchy.
Yeah.
I mean, we're coming up on 25 years of professional sports. I get it. By the way, Alex said exactly what I said yesterday, right? Like, if you're on the business side of things, why the hell would you want to go through rebuild? First of all, there is no guarantees on a rebuild. You come out on the other side.
No.
With roses, rose
There's
garden.
no money in rebuilding either.
No.
Not public relations, not fan money, you're not gaining favor with that.
And nobody is talking about your product. Nobody's excited about your product. Nobody's paying attention to your product. They're like, a lot of them are just like, yeah, just tell me when you get good again. Like,
there's no buzz in rebuild.
No. So I get it. And the Titans, and so they're both in this weird spot. Like, I don't want to. Why? What? Rebuild? Well, there's no guarantee. So what do you do? What do you do when you're good? Like the Titans. Like the notion that the Titans and Predators, they're stuck in the mud. Well, they're not stuck in the mud. Stuck in the mud means you're going nowhere.
Yeah.
Stuck in the mud means every year you're a failure. The Buffalo Sabres have gone, by the way, their fan base is pretty passionate about them. How long has it been since they've been in the playoffs?
They're passionate about everything in Buffalo.
Yeah, they are.
Western New York is just a passionate fan base.
There's not much else to do. So they support their teams.
They're passionate people.
How long has it been since they've been in the playoffs? By the way, before the Bills had this little run here?
Yeah.
How long have they gone? Since the Music City Miracle.
Yeah.
Like 2 decades without playoffs.
Yeah.
That's stuck in the mud. Stuck in the mud is that. Stuck in the mud is having no hope. Stuck in the mud is doing every season looks the same. Like, yeah, here we go again. Yeah, another failed season, under 500, not going to the playoffs. The Titans and the Predators are going to the playoffs. It's not stuck in the mud. You can be disappointed and you can be mad and you can voice your opinions about not getting anywhere once you get to postseason, but that's not stuck in the mud. That's not underachieving. Getting to the playoffs every year is hard. It's hard. I can give you all kinds of franchises that don't.
Oh, yeah.
Year in and year out. All the time.
Mm-hmm.
That is stuck in the mud. These two franchises are not stuck in the mud. They're stuck in the mud once they get in postseason. It's not going anywhere in postseason. Predators get there every year. They've been first-round exits.
Yeah.
Titans have had one run with Vrabel and a win with Malarkey, right?
Yeah.
That's it. Now before
Fisher,
that,
yeah.
and before that win, right? There's been a whole lot of not much playoff success, and by the way, a whole lot of not playoffs.
No.
At least the Predators in their 24 years have been getting to the playoffs on a pretty. What is it? Like 17 of the 24 years they've been in the playoffs. It's pretty damn good.
It's good.
Okay, but I get it. I understand the itchiness. I think we just need to relabel the itchiness. People that act like it's a failure, these teams are going nowhere. They're tired of mediocrity. That's not mediocrity when you're going to the playoffs. That's not mediocrity.
Yeah.
Mediocrity is the same every year. Like the Detroit Lions have been mediocrity.
Yes.
Because they're a failure every year. They don't play January football.
No. But people see it all the same. And that's the issue. And that is.
Do you?
Do I see it all the same? No, I don't myself. No. The issue is that we run into other folks who have who have been here, others of which are younger fan base. That lady we heard from earlier who said the Titans weren't a success, she's been alive all of 23 years. She said it when she got in front of the microphone. She's 23 years old. And in her mind, my whole life, the Titans have never won the Super Bowl. So for me, now they've done absolutely nothing, because you would think out of everything that I've done in my life, at some point the Titans would have won the Super Bowl. But the Titans haven't won the Super Bowl my whole life, therefore it feels like failure. And I can look back and see where they haven't won the Super Bowl any other time, therefore that makes them failures. And that is the key issue here. Is you talked about recalibrating or relabeling here. The fan base here in this city is changing. It is not the same fan base from before.
Because you have a lot of people who have moved here. They've come from other places.
Not only that, Darren, you're getting transplants. That's true, but you're also getting younger fans in place too. The fans who grew up cheering for the Titans, who didn't get anywhere, who are now adults and starting to voice their opinions about things.
But where are a lot of the transplants, Justin?
I'm sorry?
Where are a lot of the transplants coming from?
Oh, well, New York, California.
Okay, California's in the mix, but when you say the majority pile is northeast,
I would actually say the majority pile is west. Is
really?
California? Yeah,
Really?
I mean, from our experience,
I know a lot has come from California.
Yeah, but you know, a good share has come from the Northeast. There's no question about that.
And you know where I'm going with this.
Yes,
Like that is the mentality in the Northeast. I know. I lived there for 7 years. It's just fire and brimstone.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what it is.
And people like to, call and complain
it's
about it.
Fire
There's
and
not
brimstone.
working. They're
It's-
terrible. They
everything
stink.
is terrible. Right?
Yeah, and they haven't won anything, and therefore everything is a letdown and all that kind of great stuff.
Yes.
And if you're from New York, listen, you're from New York, you've had a lot of years of suffering, okay? The Knicks haven't won the championship since the 70s. The Jets haven't won the Super Bowl since Joe Namath and the guarantee in Super Bowl III.
I don't think the Knicks have been to the playoffs since John Starks.
I think they've been to the playoffs sooner than that. Yeah, they have, but it hasn't gone well. There's a lot of failure there in the Northeast. There's also a whole lot of success, too. If you're from Boston, you've seen championships in the last 15, 20 years, across several sports, too. Not
Across
just
many
one.
decades.
Yes, you have. So it depends on who you are and where you're coming from and what your sports experience is.
Philadelphia is failure, right?
Yes.
It's more heartbreak.
But just to let's bring it all now. You want to do it? Okay. Let's bring it all the way back. When I moved here in the early
You
1990s.
want to hit that? Stop that.
Yeah, let's do it.
We'll step away, come back, wrap up the show. We'll do that next.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The patented key ingredient is something called Testofen, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text STAPLE to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text STAPLE to 321-321. That's STAPLE to 321-321.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
Nashville's first curling venue is here at T-Line Nashville. Come check out T-Line Nashville and experience the world's fastest growing winter sport today. Curling is a fun and simple sport that's a perfect outing for friends, corporate events, families, or parties. T-Line also has classic bowling and modern bowling mini games. With over 20 HD TVs, you can come watch your favorite teams and some of the best food and drinks here in Nashville in the large bar and grill area. They also have an outdoor area with a fire pit, and you can't forget the live music. T-Line Nashville is a one-stop shop for a great night out. Located at 106 Duluth Avenue and online at tlinenash.com. You can book your party now or give them a call at 615-439-1024. That's 615-439-1024. And make sure you give them a follow on Instagram and Facebook at T-Line Nash for all the news, events, and updates. T-Line Nashville. Nashville's first curling venue is here.
Whoa, are you kidding me?
There's plenty of game left. Just chill out. If you're too riled up, you won't ever get to sleep tonight.
How can I chill out when I have to put up with this every single week?
Oh, and he gets picked off. Interception.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Okay, that's enough. Here, try these cannabis products from Lab Canna. And these heightened Delta 8 gummies and Karma Calming Caramels will help put you in a better state of mind.
Whether you win or lose, make every game day better with cannabis products from Lab Canna. Learn more today at labcanna.com.
WNSR Nashville Sports Radio would like to take this time to say congratulations to Greg Poe. Greg is a member of the 2023 class of the Tennessee Sports Writers Association Hall of Fame. Greg Poe has been a standard and staple of Nashville sports media. Congratulations to Greg Poe and the rest of the 2023 class of the Tennessee Sports Writers Association Hall of Fame. From your friends and family at WNSR Nashville Sports Radio.
All right, so where were you going to go in our limited amount of time?
Yeah, just real quick. When I moved here to Nashville in the early 90s, and I was a little kid, when I moved to Nashville, there were no Titans, there were no Predators. Heck, there wasn't even a Bridgestone Arena. There wasn't a Nissan Stadium. There was none of that. You had the Municipal Auditorium, and then you had Vanderbilt, and then you had the Sounds, and then you had the Vols, and that was it. And when I moved here, the Vols had not won the national championship in 30, 40 years when I moved here in the early 90s. And so what took me a long time to understand in my mind is what a good season was. The Vols would go, they would win 8 or 9 games, and they would go to a bowl in Florida, and everybody would say, boy, the Vols really had a good season. Did you see the Vols? They had a good season. They had a good class. They did good. And there would be no championship. There would be no division. They would just win 8 or 9 games, and everybody would say, man, the Vols had a good season. Well, then professional sports moved to town. And all of a sudden, getting to the playoffs was cool at first. Then you kept doing it, and then you kept going nowhere once you got there. And then it lost its specialness. It lost its cook. It lost its sizzle. The Titans had a great run in 99 to cook the whole thing off. Then they weren't able to follow it up with anything except for disappointments because we never got back there and got it done. Then here come the Predators, make their run. They got there but never got it done. So while the losing for some franchises, never getting to the playoffs seems like mediocrity, for a fan base that has grown up now watching this for 2.5 decades, essentially, it might as well be 2-14, 3-13. It feels the exact same way. It sounds silly. We know that's not how it really works in sports. But for these folks, once you woke them up out of, winning 8 or 9 games really isn't all that great of a year. Once the expectation bar went up, it's been impossible to get it back down.
Yep.
And that's where we are. And last thing before we sign off on this particular point, one of the issues with Nissan Stadium, have you noticed that no fan, even though when we talked about replacing Nissan Stadium, no one is saying, boy, I'd be sorry to see it go. Oh, we've had some fond memories in Nissan. No one said we've had the Music City Miracle and a couple of other key things.
Said no one.
But you know why, Darren? There's no playoff victories. Me and you were at the last playoff win in 2004 against Bill Cowher in the smoke against the Steelers. That's been almost 20 years ago.
Joe Nedney.
That's been 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So no one's crying for the nostalgia of Nissan Stadium. It isn't there. That kind of stuff catches up with people after a while, and it makes people apathetic after a while towards the football team and towards the franchises in general.
Yeah, apathetic is not where you want to be, by the way, as a franchise. You do not want that from the fan base. At least if you got pea and vinegar, at least they have, right? They're still
people are mad, yeah.
Right, but at least they're still engaged.
Yeah.
All right, that'll do it for our show. Have a great Tuesday. Afternoon stretch is next.